Hey, this is Josh with US Coins Guide, and in this video I'm talking about the top 5 rare error pennies worth lots of money that, yes, you actually can find, repeat, can find in circulation. They include coins like the 1972 obverse double die Lincoln cent worth hundreds of dollars. So, what are the other 4 rare error pennies worth money that you should be looking for in pocket change? I'll tell you in this video, so stay tuned.
We have here a 1972 double die obverse Lincoln cent. And this is a coin that is probably the most popular among the Lincoln Memorial varieties. Not because it's the most valuable, though it is up there in value. This one here is worth probably $600 at the moment. Lower graded versions are worth between $200 and $300, and then you go up from there. But this is a coin worth looking for, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But first, let's talk about the number 1 Lincoln Memorial error I want you to be looking for, and that is the 1969's double die obverse Lincoln cent. And as you see here, I'm on HA.com or heritageauctions.com. I love coming to this site because it shows all kinds of auction archives going back about 25 years at this point, and auction prices realized, incredible photography, original lot write-up. So you really get the gist of what these coins were selling for years ago, and it's kind of a good research tool. I mean, I love coming to this website to kind of look up information about classic coins and those that have sold over the years. And I also have another great reference I love to use, and that is the Guidebook of Lincoln Cents. This is by Q. David Bowers with a 4 by Charles D. Daughtry. This is a version I bought in 2008. It's the first edition as far as I know. I think Whitman's made or printed rather 2 more editions since this version came out years ago. But in this book, we see here a close-up, actually 2 close-ups, of the obverse details on the 1969 S double die obverse Lincoln cent. And as you see, there is doubling to the south or below and west or left of the primary design elements, right? Like the 1969, you see doubling down here. And then the motto "In God We Trust," prominent doubling right here. There's also doubling to be seen in the legend Liberty. Not quite as prominent in this picture, but it's there. But you don't see doubling in the S mint mark for San Francisco. So why is that? You would think, well, all these things are doubled, and why isn't the S mint mark doubled? Because back in the late 60s and really into the 90s, in some cases, mint marks were actually hand punched on the die, which actually creates the design, and prints the design on a coin, after the hubbing process where the doubling would have occurred. So that is why on a legitimate 1969 S double die obverse Lincoln cent, you will not see doubling in the S mint mark. If you ever do see a 1969 S penny that has doubling in the mint mark, it's not really a double die. It's basically a case of machine doubling or mechanical doubling, which really has no additional value beyond face, or really in the case of these days, the copper price of the penny, because copper prices now dictate that a penny is worth 3 to 5 cents in the case of the pre-1982 copper Lincoln Memorial cents. So what are these pennies worth? Well, let's go back here to our trusty HA.com and look at these auction prices, folks. I mean, now bear in mind, these are some of the better graded examples right here. Look at an MS64 red that sold for $51,600 back in 2021. The same grade here, 58,008. That realized the same, or the hammer the same year. In general, a 1969 S double die Lincoln cent is worth about $20,000 and up for a circulated example. But the cool thing about this coin, beyond the incredible doubling that you see on it, is that you can find this coin in pocket change and in rolls. In fact, there have been several reported cases of people who are doing roll searches who found this coin in rolls. And another case where a person happened to find this coin in pocket change. I'm not going to say that if you buy a roll of 1969 S pennies today, like, mint state pennies, that you're going to find this coin. But your chances are actually fairly positive. I would say it's improbable, but not implausible, that you could find this coin looking through rolls and bags and such, or even just diligent pocket change searching. So keep your eyes out for this coin. It is one definitely worth looking for. Next up is 1972 double die obverse Lincoln cent. And again, this is a coin that, as you see here, has been found obviously in many mint rolls, but has been also located, by the by, in circulation. And similar to the case of the previous coin, the 1969 is double die obverse. You're looking for doubling in the obverse details. We'll go ahead and flip to the appropriate page here in my book. And let's see here. Now we're talking about the double die, and there is prominent doubling in the Legend Liberty, the date, and the motto, "In God We Trust." And we'll go ahead and we'll blow up some of this detail here on the screen. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click onto this image, and you can already see the doubling even in the main plate image here, just opening this page up. But look at this. See all that? Doubling and "In God We Trust," and the Legend Liberty, the date. You cannot miss this doubling. Now, there are a few iterations of the 1972 double die penny, but this is the most valuable, A, and B, the most widely sought. We're looking at values between $200 and $300 for a lower graded example. This one here, let me see what grade this one is in that we just opened up. MS67 red, $3,000. I mean, now that's a pretty valuable penny if you ask me. You'll see here again, prices are kind of all over the gamut here based on grade, also how long ago these coins hammered. But this is definitely a penny worth looking for in pocket change and in rolls. Next up is 1983 double die reverse Lincoln Memorial set. Probably the most important of the double die reverse Lincoln pennies out there. And in this case, again, we're looking at the main features of the reverse here. Let's open up the page so we can showcase some of this. Wrong side, Josh. There we go. And again, see here, kind of to the right of the primary elements, the doubling. You can see like the little groove there indicates the secondary image of the eye, and we'll keep on scrolling through here. You know, look at the E pluribus unum. See that doubling in the letters there? That's what you're looking for, the 1983 double die reverse penny. Certainly a coin you could pick up easily if you have a 5x or 10x magnifying glass. You may see a link for such a loupe below. It's a very handy tool that I really don't do pocket change or roll searching without. What's this coin worth? I mean, you know, you look at the auction prices realized here. I mean, this is what, $1,725 for an example sold in 2008, an MS67 red PCGS. We see here $2,640 for a more recent hammer price, MS68 red. In general, I like to say that if you're looking at a circulated example, which is the more common situation, if you're finding this coin in pocket change or in rolls, you're talking between $200 and $300 again. That's kind of the range for a lot of these pocket change discoveries, if you will, that we're talking about at this point in the video. But as you see also, if you find one in a mint state roll, you could have a coin worth over $1,000. So that's definitely a coin worth looking for. Next up, it's 1984 double die obverse Lincoln cent. Although many call this the 1984 doubled ear Lincoln penny. Now, of course, why is that? Well, let's open up a picture and look here at Lincoln's oracle. Look at his exposed ear elements. See that? You cannot miss, well, maybe you could if you're going through pocket change kind of quickly, but you really cannot miss the doubled earlobe here on Lincoln. See that? I mean, that's a pretty cool little diagnostic right there. You can also find doubling in Lincoln's famous bow tie and in some of the neck and beard details. What's the 1984 double die obverse penny worth? Not quite the price of the 1972 or the 83 double dies. This one's worth between $100 and $250 in the lower mint state grades, $50, $75 for a circulated example. Although, you know, if you find a better example in the mid to upper mint state grades, look at these prices here. We're talking $3,220 For an MS68 red example, this one sold back in 2010 at that price. I mean, we can certainly almost guarantee that's worth more today. And as you look at the other prices here for nice pieces, you could say that's kind of the case. Couple $1,000 for a really nice gemmed, superb gem example means this is a coin well worth looking for. And finally, we have what I'll call in my best French, the piece de la resistance, the 1995 double die obverse Lincoln cent. Folks, I recall when this coin was first discovered back in the spring of that year, it made headlines everywhere. From local morning radio to national news on TV to the early version of the internet back when some of us, including myself, used to receive the free 50 hours of AOL CD-ROMs, which we no longer get in the mail, nor any longer is free. But this was a coin that made a lot of buzz and got people excited. When it was first discovered back in the spring of 1995, it was thought to be a really rare coin. But as the year rolled along, many more thousands were found by collectors everywhere. And it was discovered that it wasn't quite as rare as originally thought, but it's still a scarce coin. I'll show you what to look for here as you yourself look for this coin in circulation. Let's pull up a nice picture here. Alrighty. So, couple things to be keeping an eye on. First of all, the Legend Liberty. Look at that doubling, folks. You really cannot miss that with a 5x or certainly a 10x loop. You can see kind of the groove there that indicates the primary and secondary elements of the design, both the primary and the doubled. And then we'll scroll up here to the motto and God We Trust. The first or left half of the motto really shows the prominent doubling here, like in the words in and God. You can really see the doubling in there. It gets less prominent as the motto moves to the right. You can still see it in we, and then the trust, not quite as strong in the word trust as the words in and God, but it's still there. See that up there? T and the R and even the U, a little bit in the S and the T. What's this coin worth? If you found a circulated example in circulation and it has some wear on it, you're talking maybe $10 to $15, which is, by the way, so a lot more than face value of 1 cent. And then examples that are in, say, MS63 red brown to MS64 red, generally $50 to $100 more or less, and then it goes way up from there as you get into the gem examples. Let's go ahead and pull back here for a second and look at the kind of the rundown here on some of the hammer prices from the last number of years. I mean, look at this. The one I just pulled up here sold for $1,740 in 2024. It is an MS69 red example in PCGS holder. We have some more here in that $1,000 to $2,000 range. $1,080, for example. $1,140, $1,140 again. I saw one up here for over $3,000. Where did that one go? Here we go. Yeah, $3,001.20. MS9 red PCGS. Again, you get the idea. This coin is worth a lot more than face value. Rather it be in a well-worn condition and worth, $15, $12, or in a really nice, superb gem condition where we're talking several $100, or in this case here, the top of the grading spectrum near MS69 for over $1,000, $3,000. This is a coin well worth looking for. So again, a quick rundown here. Keep your eyes out for the 1969, that's double die obverse Lincoln cent. 1972 obverse double die Lincoln cent. 1983 double die reverse Lincoln cent. 1984 double die obverse or doubled ear Lincoln cent. And the 1995 double die obverse Lincoln cent. I would love to know in the comments below if you yourself are looking for any of these pennies or have found these pennies in circulation, whether it be one of them or all 5 of them or something else well worth one's time. If you like the video enough, please subscribe to our channel, The US Coins Guide. Share these videos, certainly appreciate it. And I want you to know how much I appreciate you for watching this video. So again, this is Josh with The US Coins Guide, thanking you for your time and happy collecting.